While the owners were away, the housekeeper let a beggar girl into the house to eat. When the owners returned and saw a homeless girl in their house, Emily was a hard-working and dream-filled 25-year-old. From a young age, she had developed a passion for cooking, inspired by her mother and grandmother. Her greatest ambition was to save enough money to open her own catering business, where she could share her love of food with others. However, circumstances had led her to work as a domestic worker in the house of the Browns, a wealthy and demanding family. Emily bid farewell to the homeowners, Elisa and Kevin Brown, with a forced smile as they headed to a social gathering. Elisa, with her haughty demeanor and critical gaze, issued one last instruction before leaving. "Remember, Emily, I want the house to be immaculate when we return. I won't tolerate any mistakes," Elisa said, adjusting her elegant coat while her husband, Kevin, remained silent beside her. "Yes, Mrs. Brown. Everything will be in order," Emily responded calmly, hiding her discomfort. The front door closed behind them, and Emily allowed herself a deep sigh of relief. The silence of the empty house enveloped her, providing a brief respite from the constant pressure of her job. While working in the luxurious Brown home provided her with good pay, Elisa's condescending treatment made every day a challenge. Emily headed to the living room, carefully tidying up the scattered cushions and adjusting the curtains. As she worked, her thoughts returned to her early days in the house. She had been hired right after finishing her studies, full of hope and enthusiasm. Her dream was to save enough money to open her own catering business, a passion inherited from her mother. However, the reality had turned out to be much harsher than she had expected. Elisa Brown, owner of a chain of handbag boutiques, was an elegant and impeccably dressed woman, but with a cold and distant character. Her obsession with her supposed royal lineage made her behave with unbearable arrogance. She constantly boasted about her ancestry, although no one had seen concrete proof of it. Her excessive pride and frequent bragging about her lineage annoyed those around her, especially Emily. Kevin Brown, on the other hand, was a quiet and peaceful man. Retired from his career as a real estate agent, he preferred to spend his time fishing or hunting, activities that kept him away from his wife's domineering presence. Kevin rarely interfered in Elisa's affairs, opting for a life of peace and conflict avoidance. The death of their son Daniel in a tragic car accident 7 years ago had left a deep mark on him, plunging him into a melancholy that was only alleviated by his escapes into nature. With the living room now tidy, Emily headed to the kitchen, her refuge within the house. As she cleaned the surfaces and organized the utensils, her thoughts were filled with her grandmother Sarah's advice. "Remember, dear, that we all have our inner battles, and sometimes kindness is the most powerful weapon," Sarah always said. Those wise words had helped her endure the toughest days under the Brown roof. Despite the difficulties, Emily clung to her dream of opening a catering business. She imagined a small place filled with delicious aromas where she could share her love for cooking with the world. That vision kept her going, even when the job became unbearable. Elisa and Kevin no longer had children, although they once did. Daniel, their only son, had been the light of their lives until he died in a tragic car accident 7 years ago. Emily had started working for them around the time of that loss. The previous employee, whom Elisa preferred to call her maid, had hinted that the house had been happier before the tragedy. Daniel's death brought a drastic change, especially in Elisa, who fell into a deep sadness and a sudden inclination towards self-purification. Emily clearly remembered her first day in the house. Everything seemed new and promising, but the atmosphere of sadness and melancholy was palpable. Although she had never met Daniel, his presence was still felt in every corner of the house, especially in the study where he used to spend much time. With the house now in order and the day just beginning, Emily took a moment to breathe deeply and remember her purpose. She knew that despite the difficulties, she had to keep going, not just for herself, but also for her grandmother Sarah, who had always supported her unconditionally. That morning, while Emily was sweeping the porch, she noticed a small, disheveled figure across the street. It was a girl, dirty and in tattered clothes, looking longingly at the house. Emily put down the broom and cautiously approached her. "Hello, are you all right?" Emily asked, her voice gentle and understanding. The girl looked up, revealing large, sad eyes. "I'm looking for my dad. I don't know where he is," she replied in a small voice. "What's your name?" Emily asked, kneeling to be at her level. "Sophia," said the girl. "I've been living on the street since I ran away from my grandmother's house. She doesn't want me." Emily felt a pang of compassion. "Have you eaten anything today, Sophia?" The girl shook her head. Emily, determined to help her, took her hand. "Come with me. I'll get you something to eat." Sophia looked at Emily with initial distrust, but the warmth in Emily's eyes convinced her. Together, they entered the house. Emily led Sophia to the kitchen and offered her a chair. "Sit here. I'll make you something to eat," she said, as she began to take ingredients out of the refrigerator. Emily prepared a sandwich and poured a glass of milk for Sophia, who ate voraciously. As Sophia ate, Emily watched attentively. The girl seemed to have gone through many hardships, and Emily wondered what kind of life she had led. Sophia, noticing Emily's gaze, gave her a shy smile. "Thank you, Mum," said Sophia, with her mouth full. "You don't have to call me Mum. I'm Emily. Why don't you tell me more about yourself?" Sophia, finishing her sandwich, began to speak. "My mum died when I was born. I lived with my grandmother, but she always said I was a problem. One day, I found an address in a letter that said I could find my dad here." Emily frowned. "Here? Do you have that letter with you?" Sophia nodded and pulled a crumpled piece of paper from her pocket. Emily took it and looked at it. The address was partially visible, but clear. It was the same address as the Browns' house. Emily felt a chill. Could it be possible that Sophia had some relation to the Browns? Before she could think more about it, the sound of a car pulling into the driveway made her jump. Elisa and Kevin had returned unexpectedly. "Sophia, come with me," Emily whispered, leading her to a corner of the kitchen. "Stay here, and don't make a sound." Elisa entered first, followed by Kevin, and stopped dead upon seeing Emily in the kitchen. "What are you doing here, Emily? You shouldn't be in the kitchen at this time." "I'm sorry, Mrs. Brown. I was cleaning and thought to prepare some food for when you returned," Emily responded, trying to stay calm. Elisa looked at her with disdain. "Very well, but make sure not to leave anything out of place." At that moment, a small noise came from the corner where Sophia was hiding. Elisa frowned and walked towards the sound. Emily tried to stop her, but Elisa had already discovered Sophia. "Who is this girl?" demanded Elisa, her voice filled with fury and surprise. Emily stepped between Elisa and Sophia. "She's a girl I found outside, Mum. She was hungry, and I decided to give her something to eat." "You can't just bring anyone into this house, especially not a dirty girl," Elisa yelled. "This is unacceptable." Kevin, who had been watching silently, stepped forward. "Elisa, calm down. Let her explain." Emily took a breath and explained how she had found Sophia and what the girl had told her about searching for her father. Kevin, seeing the piece of paper in Emily's hand, took it and examined it. His expression changed when he recognized the address. "Elisa, look at this," Kevin said, handing her the paper. Elisa looked at it incredulously. "What does this mean?" Kevin looked at Sophia with a mix of surprise and doubt. "You know who this might be." Elisa stood silent, processing the information, while Emily and Sophia waited anxiously for her reaction. Elisa stared at the piece of paper in her hands, her thoughts racing. Kevin, for his part, couldn't take his eyes off Sophia. The possibility of who this little girl might be filled him with a mix of hope and sadness. "Take her to the living room. We need to talk," Kevin finally said, his voice calm but firm. Emily nodded and, taking Sophia's hand, led her to the living room. Elisa and Kevin followed, still trying to comprehend what was happening. Once in the living room, they all sat down, with Emily and Sophia on one side and the Browns on the other. "Sophia," Kevin began gently, "you said you were looking for your dad. Do you have any other information about him?" Sophia nodded and pulled out a small crumpled photo from her pocket. The photo showed a smiling young man, whom Kevin and Elisa recognized immediately. It was Daniel, their lost son. Elisa gasped and brought a hand to her mouth, her eyes filling with tears. Kevin took the photo carefully, examining it as if he couldn't believe what he was seeing. "It's Daniel," he whispered. Emily watched the exchange with a tight heart. She had hoped Sophia would find some comfort, but she hadn't imagined the magnitude of the revelation. "Sophia," Elisa finally said, her voice trembling, "was your mother's name Isabella?" "Yes," Sophia replied, a little scared by the intensity in Elisa's voice. "She died when I was born." Elisa and Kevin exchanged a look filled with pain and began to cry uncontrollably. The story of Isabella and Daniel was something they had never discussed openly, but they knew their actions and prejudices had contributed to the tragedy. Kevin got up and knelt in front of Sophia, taking her small hands in his. "Sophia, we are your grandparents. Your father, Daniel, was our son. We had no idea you existed." Sophia looked at him with a mix of confusion and hope. "Really? Are you my grandparents?" "Yes, dear," Elisa said, finally finding her voice. "You are our granddaughter." Sophia broke into tears, overwhelmed by emotions. Emily, who had been watching silently, felt a wave of relief and happiness for the girl. Everything was changing, and she hoped it was for the better. With Sophia still in shock, Elisa turned to Emily. "Thank you for bringing her here. I don't know what we would have done if you hadn't found her." Emily nodded humbly. "I just did what I thought was right, Mrs. Brown." Kevin, still kneeling, turned to Elisa. "We need to find out more about what happened. We need to talk to Sophia's maternal grandmother and ensure she's safe here with us." Elisa nodded, her face still pale. "Yes, Kevin, we will. But first, Sophia needs to rest and feel safe." Kevin stood up and, together with Elisa, led Sophia to one of the guest rooms. "This will be your room for now, Sophia. You can rest and feel at home," Elisa said, trying to sound reassuring. Sophia nodded timidly and sat on the bed, still processing everything that had happened. Emily stayed at the door, watching as the Browns tried to comfort their granddaughter. "Emily," Kevin said, turning to her, "please stay with us for a moment. We need to talk about what we'll do next." Emily nodded and followed the Browns back to the living room. Once there, they sat down and began to discuss the next steps. "First, we need to contact Sophia's maternal grandmother and resolve the legal situation," Kevin said, his voice firm. "Yes, and we also need to ensure Sophia feels safe and welcome here," Elisa added, her tone softer than usual. Emily nodded. "I can help Sophia adjust. I'll teach her to feel comfortable here and get to know the house." Elisa and Kevin nodded gratefully. "Thank you, Emily. Your help is invaluable to us," Elisa said sincerely. That night, as Emily prepared to go home, she reflected on everything that had happened. Sophia's arrival had changed everything in the Brown house. For the first time in a long while, there was hope and an opportunity for redemption. Emily knew the road ahead would be difficult, but she was determined to help Sophia and the Browns find peace and happiness. As she closed the door behind her, Emily smiled, feeling that something beautiful was beginning. The story of Emily, Sophia, and the Browns was just beginning, and although the challenges would be many, so would the opportunities for love, understanding, and redemption. After Emily retired to her room, Elisa and Kevin remained in the living room, reflecting on the past. The story of Daniel and Isabella was painful and complex. Daniel had met Isabella in college, and they had fallen in love quickly. However, Elisa had never approved of the relationship due to the class difference and Isabella's aspirations, which did not align with the expectations she had for her son. "I remember when we told Daniel that Isabella wasn't right for him," Elisa murmured, tears in her eyes. "He was so in love. He didn't listen to our advice and went ahead with the relationship." Kevin took Elisa's hand. "We knew he was in love, but we never realized how deeply our rejection would affect him. When Isabella got pregnant, Daniel was determined to marry her, but we prevented it," Elisa sobbed. "Our arrogance and pride destroyed our own son. Now we have the opportunity to correct our mistakes with Sophia. The next morning, Kevin, Elisa, and Emily prepared to go to the address Sophia had mentioned. They wanted to talk to Sophia's maternal grandmother and better understand the situation. As they headed towards the modest neighborhood where the grandmother lived, the nervousness was palpable in the air. Upon arriving at a small neglected house, they knocked on the door. An older woman with a wrinkled face and a bitter expression opened the door. Her eyes narrowed upon seeing them. "What do you want?" she asked in a harsh voice. "Ma'am," Kevin began, trying to remain calm. "We are Sophia's paternal grandparents. We to you about her." The woman looked at them with disdain. "Now you care? After all this time, you come here asking about her." Elisa stepped forward. "We didn't know of her existence until yesterday. We want to make sure she's okay and understand why she has been living on the streets." The grandmother sighed and allowed them inside. The house was in poor condition, reflecting years of neglect and hardship. "My daughter Isabella died giving birth to Sophia. Since then, I've tried to take care of her, but I don't have the resources or the health to do it properly. She was always a burden, and I'm sorry to say it." Emily, moved by the grandmother's words, intervened. "Sophia deserves a better life. We want to take care of her and give her the opportunity for a bright future." The grandmother looked at them with distrust, but also a hint of relief. "If you really want to help her, then take her. But I don't want any more trouble. I've had enough." Elisa and Kevin left the house with a sense of relief and sadness. Elisa, especially, was filled with remorse. "How could we have been so blind, Kevin? We lost our son and almost lost our granddaughter." Kevin hugged her. "We can't change the past, Elisa, but we can make sure Sophia has the future she deserves." Back at home, Emily took care of Sophia, helping her adjust to her new surroundings. Sophia, though still shy and scared, began to feel more secure. The Brown house, once filled with pain and sadness, was starting to transform into a place of hope and love. The revelation of the truth had been painful, but also liberating. Elisa and Kevin were determined to make peace with their past and give Sophia all the love and security they hadn't been able to give Daniel. Emily, with her kindness and dedication, would be a key part of this new chapter in their lives. The road ahead would not be easy, but together, as a family, they were ready to face it. The revelation about Sophia brought a new set of challenges for the Brown family. Although Sophia's maternal grandmother had agreed for her to stay with them, they knew they needed to do everything legally correct to protect the girl and secure her future. The legal process would be arduous and full of emotions. Elisa and Kevin met in the study with their trusted lawyer, Mr. Garcia. "We want to obtain legal custody of our granddaughter, Sophia," Kevin said determinedly. Mr. Garcia, an experienced and respected man in his field, nodded seriously. "I understand the situation. This won't be easy, but it's possible. We need to gather all necessary documentation and prove that you are the best option for Sophia's welfare." Elisa, still affected by the recent revelation, took a deep breath. "We'll do whatever it takes. We want Sophia to grow up in a safe and loving environment." The legal process began with gathering documents and testimonies. Emily, being a first-hand witness to the conditions in which she had found Sophia, provided a detailed statement of the events. "I found Sophia on the street, dirty and hungry," Emily explained in her statement. "She told me she had run away from her grandmother's house because she wasn't treated well. Since then, we've tried to give her a safe and loving home." Mr. Garcia filed the custody request with the court, arguing that the Browns could provide a much better environment for Sophia than her maternal grandmother. The case became complicated when Sophia's grandmother, driven by fear of losing the social benefits she received, decided to fight for custody. Throughout the process, Emily became Sophia's emotional pillar. The girl, though scared by the legal proceedings, found comfort in Emily's constant and reassuring presence. Together, they spent afternoons in the garden, tending flowers and talking about dreams and hopes. "Do you think they'll let me stay here?" Sophia asked one afternoon while planting flowers. Emily smiled, her heart full of hope. "I'm sure they will, Sophia. We're all fighting for you. We want you to have a happy and safe life." Sophia, still a bit scared, smiled. Emily's presence gave her the confidence she needed to face the challenges ahead. The days in court were tough. Sophia's grandmother presented her own case, arguing that she had done everything possible to care for her granddaughter and didn't want to lose her. However, her arguments were weakened by the testimonies and evidence presented by the Browns and Emily. Elisa and Kevin, though nervous, remained firm in their conviction that they could offer Sophia a better life. Their testimonies were sincere and full of remorse for their past actions, but also of hope for a better future for their granddaughter. Finally, the day of the verdict arrived. The judge, after considering all the evidence and testimonies, ruled in favor of the Browns. In view of the evidence presented and the child's welfare, this court grants legal custody of Sophia to her paternal grandparents, Elisa and Kevin Brown, declared the judge. Elisa broke into tears of relief and joy as Kevin hugged her. Emily, with tears in her eyes, knelt and embraced Sophia, who also cried, but out of happiness. With legal custody secured, the Brown family began adjusting their lives to include Sophia permanently. Emily played a crucial role in this process, helping Sophia adapt to her new home and routine. Elisa and Kevin, for their part, began to open up emotionally, sharing memories of Daniel and showing Sophia how much she meant to them. Elisa, in particular, made an effort to change her behavior. "I want you to know, Sophia, that you are loved. I'm so sorry for what happened to your mother and your father. I promise we will do everything possible to make you happy here," she said one day, hugging her granddaughter tenderly. While helping Sophia adapt, Emily did not abandon her own dream of opening a catering business. Kevin, recognizing her dedication and effort, decided to help her in a meaningful way. "Emily, your devotion and love for Sophia have shown us how valuable you are to this family. We want to help you achieve your dream," Kevin said, handing her a significant check. Emily was speechless, tears in her eyes. "I can't believe it. This means everything to me." Kevin smiled. "You deserve it, Emily. You are part of this family now." The Brown family, now with Sophia safe and Emily with the opportunity to pursue her dream, began rebuilding their lives with hope and love. The challenges of the past were still a shadow, but together they were determined to create a future full of happiness and opportunities for everyone. Sophia's adaptation to her new home was slow but steady. The girl, who had lived through so many hardships, began to find in the Brown house a safe haven filled with love. Emily played a crucial role in this process, providing Sophia not only with care, but also a maternal figure she could trust. Mornings in the Brown house began to fill with laughter and shared activities. Emily decided to involve Sophia in her daily tasks to help her feel part of the family. One morning, while preparing breakfast, Emily taught Sophia how to make pancakes. "Mix the flour with the egg like this," Emily said, showing her the movement with the spoon. Sophia watched intently and then mimicked Emily's movements, smiling shyly as the mixture began to take shape. "Am I doing it right?" she asked. "Perfectly, Sophia," Emily replied, encouraging her. "We're going to make some delicious pancakes." Elisa, who had been watching from the doorway, felt a warmth in her heart at seeing the connection between Emily and Sophia. She approached and placed a hand on Emily's shoulder. "Thank you for everything you do, Emily. We truly appreciate how you take care of Sophia." Afternoons in the garden became a tradition for Emily and Sophia. Together they planted flowers and tended to the small vegetable garden Emily had started cultivating. As they worked, they shared stories and dreams. "Emily, when I grow up, I want to be like you. I want to help others and make them happy," Sophia said one day while planting tomatoes. Emily smiled, moved. "You are a very special girl, Sophia. I know you will do wonderful things when you grow up." Emily's patience and dedication began to bear fruit. Sophia, initially shy and reserved, started to open up more, showing her true personality, a curious, intelligent, and lively girl. With Emily's support and the security of her new home, Sophia began to thrive. At school, her teachers noticed a significant change in her behavior and academic performance. From being a withdrawn girl with difficulty concentrating, Sophia transformed into an engaged and participative student. "Today I got a gold star for my work in class," Sophia proudly announced one day upon returning from school. Elisa, who had been waiting anxiously, hugged her tightly. "I am so proud of you, Sophia. I knew you could do it." Kevin, who had arrived shortly after, smiled at seeing the joy on his granddaughter's face. "We're going to celebrate tonight," he said, lifting Sophia in the air. "What would you like to do to celebrate?" "We can make a special dinner together," Emily suggested, joining the celebration. Sophia's presence in the Brown house also had a profound impact on Elisa. The woman, who had been cold and distant, began to show a warmer and more compassionate side. The connection with her granddaughter and Emily's positive influence helped her reevaluate her priorities and let go of her obsession with lineage and appearance. One day, while Sophia and Emily played in the garden, Elisa approached Emily. "I've been a difficult person, Emily, but thanks to you, I've started to see things differently. I want you to know that you are an important part of this family." Emily, surprised by Elisa's sincerity, smiled. "Thank you, Mrs. Brown. That means a lot to me." Over time, new family traditions began to take root in the Brown house. Dinners together, afternoons in the garden, and weekends dedicated to family activities became special moments that strengthened their bonds. One Saturday, they decided to go on a field trip. Elisa, Kevin, Emily, and Sophia spent the day exploring nature, having a picnic, and enjoying each other's company. Sophia's laughter echoed in the air, and Emily couldn't help but feel deep satisfaction seeing the child's happiness. "This is what I've always dreamed of," Emily thought. "A united family, full of love and joy." While helping Sophia adapt, Emily continued working on her dream of opening a catering business. With Kevin's financial support and the motivation of seeing Sophia thrive, Emily began planning the details of her business. One day, while talking with Elisa and Kevin in the living room, Emily shared her plans. "I want my business to be a place where people feel at home, where they can enjoy homemade food in a warm and welcoming environment." "I'm sure you will achieve it, Emily," Kevin said with a smile. "You have the talent and determination to make it happen." Elisa nodded. "And we will be here to support you every step of the way." With the catering business underway and Sophia adapting to her new life, Emily felt that her dreams were finally beginning to come true. The Brown house had transformed into a home filled with love, hope, and new opportunities. So with the check in hand, Emily began planning the next steps for her catering business. She rented a small space in the city center and started decorating and equipping it with everything needed for her kitchen. Her enthusiasm was palpable, and her passion for cooking drove her to work tirelessly to bring her vision to life. Every day after finishing her work at the Brown house, Emily would head to her new space to work on her menu, prepare samples, and adjust the details of the place. The community began to notice her dedication and enthusiasm, and soon, reservations started coming in. Elisa and Kevin, wanting to show their continued support, decided to organize a special dinner at their home to introduce Emily to Diego, the son of an old family friend. Diego was a successful businessman with experience in helping new businesses take off, and they thought he could offer Emily valuable advice and connections. The dinner was an elegant and welcoming event. Emily, nervous but excited, joined the table with Elisa, Kevin, and Diego. During dinner, the conversation flowed easily, and Diego was impressed by Emily's passion and vision for her catering business. "Emily, your dedication and talent are inspiring," Diego said, smiling. "I would love to help you take your business to the next level. I know some people who would be interested in your services, and I think we could work together to expand your reach." Emily, her heart filled with gratitude, accepted Diego's offer. "Thank you, Diego. Your help would be invaluable to me. I'm excited about what we can achieve together." With Diego's help, Emily's catering business began to thrive quickly. Diego connected her with various events and potential clients, and together they planned strategies to expand the business. Emily worked tirelessly, perfecting her recipes and ensuring every client was more than satisfied. Events followed one after another, and Emily's name began to be known in the city. Her business stood out not only for the quality of the food, but also for the love and passion Emily put into every detail. The road ahead still had challenges, but with mutual support and the love that united them, Emily, Sophia, Elisa, and Kevin were prepared to face them together. The family they had formed was not only a safe haven, but also a symbol of resilience and the ability to find happiness despite adversity. Meanwhile, time passed, and Sophia's presence continued to transform the dynamics in the Brown household. Elisa, who had been cold and distant, became a warmer and more loving figure. This transformation positively impacted not only Sophia, but also brought a new harmony to the entire family. Elisa used to spend her days busy with her boutiques and concerned with maintaining a perfect appearance. However, with Sophia's arrival, her focus began to change. One day, while Sophia was playing in the garden, Elisa joined her, something she had never done before. "Can I help you plant these flowers?" Elisa asked with a shy smile. Sophia looked at her in surprise and then joy. "Sure, Grandma, it'll be fun." Elisa knelt beside Sophia and Emily, and together they started planting flowers. As they worked, Elisa felt her heart fill with a warmth she hadn't felt in a long time. "Thank you for allowing me to share this moment," Elisa said, addressing Emily. "I've realized I've been missing out on a lot by keeping my distance." Emily smiled. "It's never too late to start, Mrs. Brown. The important thing is that we're all together now." Elisa's change had a domino effect on the entire family. Kevin, seeing his wife happier and more engaged, also felt more relaxed and optimistic. Family dinners became moments of unity and joy, where everyone shared their experiences and dreams. One night during dinner, Elisa proposed a new family tradition. "What do you all think about doing a special family activity every Sunday? We could go for walks, visit new places, or just enjoy the day together at home, Ma." "I love the idea," exclaimed Sophia, excited. Kevin and Emily nodded, supporting the proposal. Thus, Sundays became days dedicated to strengthening family bonds and creating unforgettable memories. Over time, Emily ceased to be seen only as a housekeeper. Elisa and Kevin began to consider her an integral part of the family. This change became evident when Elisa, during one of their family dinners, made a special announcement. "Emily," Elisa began with a warm smile, "Kevin and I have been thinking about everything you've done for us and for Sophia. We want you to know that we don't just consider you an employee, but a part of our family. We would like you to join our family gatherings and participate in our decisions." Emily, moved to tears, responded with gratitude. "Thank you, Mrs. Brown, Mr. Brown. This means a lot to me. You and Sophia are like my family, and I'm happy to share my life with you." Elisa and Kevin supported Emily not only emotionally, but also in her business endeavors. They decided to help her promote her catering business among their friends and acquaintances. One afternoon, they organized a small gathering at their home, inviting influential friends and introducing Emily as the talented chef behind the new business. "We are very proud of Emily and her catering business," Kevin told the guests. "Her food is exceptional and her dedication is inspiring. We hope you'll consider hiring her services for your events." The response was overwhelmingly positive. The guests were impressed with Emily's food and began making reservations for future events. Emily's catering business took off quickly, and she felt overwhelmed by the support and love from the Browns. Elisa's change also led her to reflect on her past and her mistakes. She decided to visit her son Daniel's grave, taking Sophia with her. She wanted Sophia to learn more about her father and for herself to find a way to reconcile with her past. Standing before Daniel's grave, Elisa spoke with a trembling voice. "Daniel, I'm so sorry for not being there for you as I should have been. I made many mistakes, but I'm trying to make amends. Sophia is a wonderful girl, and I promise to take care of her and give her the love you would have wanted her to have." Sophia, holding her grandmother's hand, looked at her father's grave with tears in her eyes. "I miss you, Dad, but I'm happy to be here with Grandma and Grandpa. I promise to be strong and make you proud." Life in the Brown household continued to improve over time. New family traditions and mutual support strengthened the bonds between everyone. Each day brought new reasons to smile and celebrate. One Sunday, during one of their family activities, they decided to visit an amusement park. Sophia, Emily, Elisa, and Kevin enjoyed the rides, attractions, and shared laughter. It was a day full of joy, where everyone could leave their worries behind and simply enjoy the moment. Back home, as they settled on the couch to watch a movie together, Sophia looked at her grandmother and grandfather with a radiant smile. "Thank you for everything. I'm so happy to be with you." Elisa and Kevin hugged her, feeling that they had finally found the peace and happiness they had been seeking. Elisa's transformation and the new family dynamics not only improved Sophia's life, but also brought deep satisfaction to Emily. With her catering business growing and her place secure in the Brown family's hearts, Emily felt that all her dreams were coming true. The years passed quickly in the Brown household, and with them came many changes. Emily was no longer just the housekeeper of the past. She had become a successful catering entrepreneur, known for her culinary talent and impeccable service. Though she still lived in the Brown house, her role in the family had significantly evolved. Sophia, on the other hand, had grown and was now a teenager who, like many her age, was going through significant rebellious phases. One sunny morning, Emily woke up in her room, a suite that Elisa and Kevin had insisted on remodeling for her as a token of gratitude for everything she had done for the family. From the window, she could see the garden she and Sophia had tended together for so many years. Now that garden was flourishing, just as her business was. Emily went down to the kitchen, where a team of assistants was already preparing the day's menu for several events. She had earned an enviable reputation in the catering industry, and her business kept growing. "Good morning, Emily," greeted Mariana, her chief assistant. "We have a full schedule today, but everything is under control." Emily smiled. "Thank you, Mariana. I trust you'll do great as always." Although her life was busier than ever, Emily felt fulfilled and content. She had achieved her dreams and more, but her greatest achievement was the family she had helped unite. As Emily supervised the preparations, Sophia came down the stairs with an attitude reflecting her age. Now 15, Sophia was in the midst of adolescence, and with it came the challenges typical of that stage. "Good morning, Sophia," Emily said with a smile. Sophia, with headphones in her ears and a frown on her face, barely responded. "Mom, Emily, can you tell Grandma I don't need a math tutor? I can handle it myself," Emily sighed, recognizing the defiant tone Sophia had recently adopted. "I'll talk to your grandmother, but remember, we're here to help you." Sophia rolled her eyes. "Help, sure. What I need is a little freedom." Elisa entered the kitchen at that moment, catching the last part of the conversation. "Good morning to both of you. Sophia, I understand you want more independence, but your studies are important." Sophia left the kitchen muttering something unintelligible, leaving Emily and Elisa looking at each other with concern. That afternoon, Emily and Elisa sat in the living room reflecting on the changes in Sophia's life. "She's going through a difficult phase," Elisa said, sighing. "Adolescence isn't easy, but I'm worried about her attitude." Emily nodded. "I remember how hard my adolescence was. I think she needs to know we're here for her, but she also needs space to make mistakes and learn." Kevin, who had been listening silently, intervened. "Remember, she's also dealing with her past. It's been a lot for her, and sometimes teenagers express their pain through rebellion." Emily decided she needed to get closer to Sophia, reminding her she would always have her support. That night, she approached Sophia's room and knocked softly on the door. "Sophia, can I come in?" Emily asked. Sophia, lying on her bed looking at her phone, looked up and nodded. "Sure, Mom, Emily." Emily sat on the edge of the bed. "I know you're going through a lot, and I want you to know I'm here to listen. I'll always be on your side, no matter what." Sophia sighed, letting her phone fall beside her. "It's just that sometimes I feel like no one understands what I'm going through." Emily took her hand. "We might not understand everything, but we're here to support you. You're very important to us, Sophia." Sophia, with tears in her eyes, hugged Emily. "Thank you, Mom, Emily. I'm sorry if I've been difficult." The following week saw a gradual change in Sophia's attitude. Though she still faced the challenges of her age, she began to open up more to Emily and her grandparents. Communication improved, and with it, mutual understanding and support. One afternoon, Emily organized a small family event in the garden, hoping to strengthen the bonds among everyone. Sophia, Elisa, Kevin, and Diego, who had remained an important part of their lives, gathered to enjoy a barbecue. As they cooked and chatted, Emily felt grateful for the love and unity they had built together. Though the path hadn't always been easy, the challenges had strengthened and united them more. With the passage of time, Sophia had grown and matured. Now at 18, she found herself in a new stage of her life, exploring her independence and discovering love. However, this new phase brought unexpected challenges that revived old patterns of thought in Elisa. Sophia met Oliver at university. He was a kind, intelligent young man, passionate about his studies. They spent a lot of time together, and their relationship quickly blossomed. One afternoon, Sophia decided to introduce him to her family. "Mom, Emily, Grandma, Grandpa, I want to introduce you to someone very special," Sophia said with a radiant smile as Oliver timidly entered the Brown house. Emily and Kevin warmly welcomed him, but Elisa, seeing the young man, couldn't help but feel a pang of distrust. Her memories of Daniel's relationship with Isabella and the tragic consequences of their rejection began to resurface. "Nice to meet you, Oliver," Elisa said with a forced smile, trying to hide her apprehension. That night, after Oliver left, Elisa retreated to her room, her thoughts full of worry. Kevin followed her, knowing something was bothering her. "Elisa, what's wrong? You seem distant," Kevin said gently. Elisa sighed, sitting on the edge of the bed. "I can't help but feel scared, Kevin. Seeing Sophia with that young man reminds me of Daniel and Isabella. I'm afraid something terrible will happen again." Kevin took Elisa's hand. "Sophia is different. Oliver seems like a good guy. We can't repeat the mistakes of the past. We must trust her." Elisa, unable to overcome her fears, began to subtly but constantly express her disapproval of Oliver. Sophia, who noticed her grandmother's behavior, started feeling frustrated and resentful. "Grandma, why do you always find something negative in Oliver?" Sophia asked one day, exasperated. "Sophia, I only want what's best for you. Oliver doesn't seem right for you," Elisa responded, trying to sound reasonable. Feeling hurt and rejected, Sophia retorted, "This isn't fair. Oliver is a good guy, but you don't give him a chance. You're repeating the same mistakes you made with my dad." Elisa remained silent, shocked by Sophia's words. The truth in her words was undeniable, but Elisa still couldn't overcome her own fears. Emily, observing the growing conflict between Sophia and Elisa, decided to intervene. One afternoon, she sat with Elisa in the living room, ready to have an honest conversation. "Elisa, I understand your fears, but you need to trust Sophia," Emily began gently. "We can't control everything in our children's and grandchildren's lives. We must let them make their own decisions and learn from them." Elisa looked at Emily, her eyes full of tears. "I'm so afraid of losing Sophia like we lost Daniel." "I know," Emily said, taking Elisa's hand, "but we must support her, not smother her. Oliver seems like a good young man, and Sophia is happy with him. Let's not repeat the mistakes of the past." Determined to assert her independence, Sophia began spending more time with Oliver and less with her family. Her relationship with Elisa grew increasingly tense, full of arguments and misunderstandings. One night, after a heated argument, Sophia left home seeking refuge at a friend's house. Emily, worried, decided to talk to Kevin and Elisa. "Sophia needs to feel our support, not our rejection," Emily said firmly. "We can't lose her to our own fears." Kevin nodded. "Elisa, we need to trust Sophia and show her that we are here for her, no matter what." Elisa, with tears in her eyes, nodded. "You're right, Emily, we must fix this before it's too late." Determined to reconcile with Sophia, Elisa went to find her. She found her at her friend's house, where Sophia greeted her coldly. "Sophia, I know I've been unfair," Elisa began, her voice trembling. "I only want what's best for you, but I realize I've been acting out of fear. I want you to know that I trust you and your decisions." Sophia, still hurt, saw the sincerity in her grandmother's eyes. I just want your support, Grandma. Oliver is important to me, and I need your trust." Elisa hugged Sophia tightly. "I support you, my dear. You have my full support with Oliver." Over time, Elisa made a conscious effort to get to know Oliver better and supported Sophia's relationship. Though she still struggled with her own fears, she was determined not to repeat the mistakes of the past. Sophia, for her part, began to open up more to her family, feeling the support and love that had always been there for her. The reconciliation brought a new phase of growth and understanding for everyone. Emily, observing these changes, felt proud of how the family had faced their challenges and found ways to grow together. The Brown household remained a place of love, hope, and new opportunities, and she was confident that, no matter what, they would face the future united. Sophia's journey toward maturity and independence was only the beginning of a new phase in the life of the Brown family. With the support of Emily, Elisa, and Kevin, Sophia was ready to face the future with confidence and love, knowing she always had a home to return to. Years passed and life in the Brown household continued to flourish. Emily, now a successful entrepreneur and a central figure in the family, often took moments to reflect on the journey they had all shared. One of the most notable and significant changes had been Elisa's transformation. Emily realized how far the family's matriarch had come, leading her to conclude something powerful about people's capacity for change. On a quiet morning, Emily sat in the garden enjoying a cup of tea. From her spot, she could see Elisa working in the garden alongside Sophia and Oliver, now a happily married couple. Elisa's transformation was evident in every gesture, in every smile. Emily recalled the early days in the Brown household. Elisa had been a cold, distant woman, obsessed with her lineage and appearance. Her treatment of Emily had been disdainful and prejudiced, but over time and shared experiences, Elisa had changed radically. As she watched Elisa, Emily let her thoughts drift to the past. She remembered the initial tensions, the moments of conflict, and the times she had thought about quitting because of the way she was treated. However, she also remembered her grandmother Sarah's words, which had always advised her to show compassion and patience. "Remember, dear, we all have our internal battles, and sometimes kindness is the most powerful weapon," Sarah had said. Emily realized those words had been a constant guide in her life. Diego, who had been a pillar of support for Emily in her business and personal life, joined her in the garden. "What are you thinking about?" he asked, sitting beside her. "About Elisa," Emily replied. "How much she's changed over the years. I remember when I first came here. She was so different. Now, seeing her with Sophia and Oliver, so happy and loving, it makes me realize that everyone has the capacity to change for the better." Diego nodded, taking Emily's hand. "It's true, Elisa has gone through a lot and has learned to open her heart. You've been a big part of that change, Emily. Your kindness and patience have had a profound impact on her." Later that day, Emily decided to talk to Elisa about her thoughts. She found her in the garden, still working with the flowers. "Elisa, can I talk to you for a moment?" Emily asked, approaching with a smile. "Of course, Emily," Elisa responded, putting down her tools and sitting on a bench next to her. "I've been reflecting on all these years and on how much you've changed," Emily began. "Your transformation is incredible, and it makes me think about how it's always possible to change for the better, no matter our circumstances." Elisa smiled, touched. "Thank you, Emily. It hasn't been an easy path, but I've learned so much from you and our family. I was so trapped in my own insecurities and prejudices that I couldn't see what really mattered. You helped me see things differently." Emily nodded. "I believe we can all change if we really want to. I've seen how your love for Sophia and your desire to be a better person have transformed your life and all of ours." Elisa took Emily's hand. "You've been a constant guide, Emily. You taught me to be more understanding and to open my heart. I can never thank you enough for that." That night, as Emily prepared for bed, she reflected on her conversation with Elisa. She realized that Elisa's change was a testament to the power of compassion and patience. It was proof that people could always learn and grow, no matter how set in their ways they seemed. Elisa had gone from being an authoritarian and cold figure to becoming a loving grandmother and a close friend. Her transformation had enriched everyone's lives in the Brown household, and demonstrated that love and understanding could break down any barrier. Emily felt proud to be part of that transformation. She knew that her own journey, full of challenges and victories, had influenced everyone around her. Her grandmother Sarah would be proud of her, seeing how she had used kindness as a tool to change lives. As she lay down, Emily thought about the future. She knew new challenges would come, but she also knew that together, as a family, they could overcome them all. The story of the Brown family was one of redemption, love, and growth. Emily knew they had created a legacy of compassion and positive change that would endure for future generations. Elisa, Kevin, Sophia, Oliver, and Emily had learned valuable lessons over the years. Together, they showed that love and patience could transform lives and that over time, everyone could find the path to happiness and personal fulfillment. The Brown home, once filled with sadness and regret, was now a place of love, hope, and new opportunities. And, at the heart of it all, was Emily, whose kindness and dedication had been the catalyst for lasting and meaningful change. Time continued to bring moments of joy, challenges, and growth for the Brown family. With each passing day, Emily, Elisa, Kevin, Sophia, and Oliver continued to build on the foundation of love and understanding they had established together. Now, in a moment of reflection, the family gathered to celebrate and contemplate all they had learned and achieved. It was a sunny spring afternoon when Emily decided to organize a special gathering in the Brown household garden. She had prepared a delicious meal with the help of her catering team to celebrate not only the family's achievements, but also the bonds that united them. Emily, Elisa, Kevin, Sophia, and Oliver sat around a large table adorned with fresh flowers and exquisite dishes. The atmosphere was filled with laughter and lively conversations, a testament to the love and happiness they shared. Emily raised her glass to make a toast. Today, I want to celebrate not only our achievements, but also our journey together. We've been through so much and learned valuable lessons along the way. Elisa nodded, her eyes brimming with tears of joy. Emily, you have been a guide and a source of inspiration for all of us. We wouldn't be here without your love and patience. Emily smiled. Thank you, Elisa, but this has been a joint effort. Each of us has contributed to making this family what it is today. And I want us to always remember that change is possible, that love and understanding can transform our lives. Elisa took Kevin's hand and looked at her family with gratitude. I have learned so much from all of you. Before, I was so caught up in my own insecurities and prejudices that I couldn't see what truly mattered. You helped me see things differently. Kevin added, life has taught us that it's never too late to learn and grow. We've made mistakes, but we've also had the opportunity to correct them and learn from them. I am grateful for every moment we've shared. Sophia, now a young adult happily married to Oliver, spoke up. I grew up in an environment full of love and support. Thanks to all of you, I have learned the value of family and the importance of understanding and patience. Oliver and I are excited about what the future holds, knowing we always have this incredible support. Oliver nodded. This family has taught me so much about unconditional love and the importance of being there for each other. I am grateful to be part of it. Moved by her family's words, Emily stood up and walked through the garden, recalling past moments and reflecting on the future. She knew her grandmother Sarah would be proud of her and what they had achieved together. Today, more than ever, I realize that true success isn't in material achievements, but in the relationships we build and the love we share, Emily thought. We have created a legacy of love and wisdom that will endure for future generations. That night after the celebration, Emily sat on the porch looking at the stars. She felt a deep peace and satisfaction. She knew life would continue to bring challenges, but she also knew that together, as a family, they could overcome anything. Elisa joined her, sitting silently by her side. Thank you, Emily, for everything. Emily took Elisa's hand and smiled. Thank you, Elisa, for opening your heart and allowing us all to grow together. Together, they watched the starry sky, feeling a deep connection with the universe and each other. The Brown household, once filled with sadness, was now a symbol of love, hope, and transformation. The Brown family's future was full of promises and possibilities. With each lesson learned and each challenge overcome, they had shown that love and understanding were the most powerful forces in the world. Together, they were ready to face whatever life presented, knowing they always had the unconditional support of their family. Emily, Eliza, Kevin, Sophia, and Oliver had created a legacy that would last forever. A legacy of love, wisdom, and the certainty that, with an open heart and a mind willing to learn, it is always possible to change for the better. And so in the tranquility of the night, the Brown family prepared for the future, full of hope and the assurance that love would always prevail. The story of the Brown family teaches us that the true power of change lies in love and understanding. No matter how deeply rooted our fears and prejudices are, we can always learn and grow if we are willing to open our hearts. Emily, with her patience and kindness, shows us that compassion can break down the strongest barriers and transform lives. Elisa, with her courage to face her mistakes and change, reminds us that it is never too late to become a better version of ourselves. Sophia and Oliver, with their love and commitment, inspire us to face the future with hope and confidence, knowing that our family's support is our greatest treasure. Life is full of challenges, but with love as our guide, we can overcome any obstacle and find the peace and happiness we so deeply desire. The story of the Browns teaches us that while the path to change can be difficult, the result is a life full of fulfillment, rich in love and brimming with promises. In every moment of our lives, we have the opportunity to choose love over fear, understanding over judgment, and patience over haste. By doing so, we not only transform our own lives, but also create a legacy of love and wisdom for future generations. Always remember, love and compassion are the most powerful forces in the world. With them, we can change, grow, and find the true meaning of happiness. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more inspiring stories. Leave us a comment with your favorite moments or lessons learned. We love hearing from you. Remember, love and understanding can transform lives. See you in the next video.